Yay, we're live! Oh, we got a little
Yay!
exclamation point with the announcement too. That was kind of nice. I don't think we've ever gotten the exclamation point of "You're live."
You
That's
did
so, I
it!
know that feels so official and welcoming. I was going, "Thank you, StreamYard," and we have our little introduction of where to go. The welcome to the Cozy Mystery live stream. When I feel so official with that. Oh, I love how that came out. It came out so cute, and I
Oh
double
my
clicked.
gosh. Yeah, that is like a whole other level of fancy that I am just not used to. So well
Well,
done you.
speaking of fancy, so for those of you who don't know, I absolutely adore this woman. I met her a few years back when I was doing interviews for my dissertation, and it was so funny because I'm interviewing her as a romance reader, and I just loved her so much, and we connected, and we became really good friends, which is probably not how academia usually works. You're like, "Hi, subject, I love you, and I'm just going to keep you forever," and so that's kind of what happened. And so Kelly Reynolds, she is amazing. And I have a little slide here featuring her connections. So if you're not following her on her personal platforms, she also has her podcast. So if you're interested in romance novels, this one is perfect for you, especially if you're new to romance. You get introduced to it in her in the best way possible. She is so much fun. She's doing book reviews, she has guests. So this is Kelly's information. And I love how this came out because she has the most adorable logo for her podcast. And I'm going, okay, she's pink. Let me do lilac or lavender to offset, and we'll go with that. We'll do the color platform for you. So that is Kelly's info, and I will link everything down below. So if you do not catch that right now, you can catch it later because she is awesome, and you are going to want to follow her because she will brighten your day with her hysterical
Oh,
comments. I can guarantee
oh
that.
my God. I feel like I'm gonna cry. Like that was like such an intro. And honestly, what a gorgeous graphic. I'm like, I need it. I need to put it everywhere just to
Oh,
I
I'll
think
email
I
it
think
to
you
you.
I think you do a better job of promoting me than I do for myself. So
I adore you. I mean, it was so funny when we connected. It was one of those, you do the professional interview, and then I was going,
mhm,
okay, I'm
mhm,
going to just take
mhm.
my little interview cap off, and now I'm just going to talk to you as a person. Like, I love everything you just said. Let me
And
just
one of these days we're going to meet in person. Like I feel like it's going to happen. I don't know if I told you, but I do have plans to be in the like Baltimore area March 2023. So,
Oh, you're
I
from
know
far
that
out.
I know it's not like the super closest thing, but I will be going to a book event at that point. So I'm like, hey, that'll be in the same neck of the woods as you. So it might have taken like 5 years to get there, but we're gonna make it happen.
It's so funny because I adore you so much, and everything's done
I
virtually.
love you.
And like, I mean, even so, we have the book club members, and I feel like I know y'all. I see your names pop up, and I'm going, I know we've never actually met in person, but I just want to hug you and tell you guys how much you mean to me. Like Kelly, like honest to God, when I see her, I'm probably gonna cry in person. That's just how it's gonna happen. So it's gonna be.
I recognize a lot of these names in the comments, so it's always exciting to, come back and step away from romance for a hot second and talk about cozies and see all these lovely folks in the comments. So, hi, hello, thanks for having me again. Oh, the puppy's here.
Yes, Max was on my lap. He's very possessive since the COVID
Mhm,
pandemic, where he had me all to
mhm.
himself. So now when I talk to someone who's not him, he gets all upset because he's like, I need your undivided attention. It's all about me. Even the other day when I was on the phone with my parents, he's barking because if I'm talking to them, I'm not acknowledging him. And then
Yeah.
I was preparing for today. And yeah,
Mhm.
see, he just nudged my leg. Like, I'm going to take over and tell you where I want to sit on your lap. And so I'm
Pay
preparing.
attention to me.
Yeah, he's gonna hopefully he'll settle down, but yeah, he's interesting. So Max will be popping in and out of this live stream.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Somebody said if we ever meet in person, there will definitely be hugging.
Oh,
All the
absolutely.
hugging.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny too because I feel as if it's very easy to be very outgoing when you're in your own environment because this is my apartment, I
Mhm,
figured everything
mhm,
I'm set up. And then so for Malice, that was the first time I had actually seen people in real life in how many years since COVID
oh,
happened. And so
mhm.
I'm kind of like, is this the person? I think this is the person. They look like their profile photo. Is that maybe? And so I'm trying to figure out like if I can go up to them or not and not be super awkward.
Yeah, especially with the added, like, the mask part of it too, now that masks are coming off, I feel like I'm
Mhm.
seeing the bottom of people's faces for, like, the first time. Like, I'm like, "Oh, never thought that that's what your mouth looked like, but also why am I thinking about what your mouth looks like a weirdo? So I don't
Well,
know.
I tried to make it so easy. Like I got an extra label for my badge and I put my name even bigger on it. I had
Yes.
this Cozy Mystery Book Club mask, like it actually had the logo on it. I was trying to make it so easy. I'm like, just in case you don't think I look like my profile photo, it's me, I promise.
I love these comments are cracking me up. Yes, no, and it's clear. And this is something I try to do on my podcast, Boobies and Newbies, is you've created such a community here with people who feel like they can come back time and time again and talk about our shared love of books. And, I don't call these people my internet friends anymore. Okay. Call them your friends because this is where we're all at. So it's something I try to do with romance as well. And, you're welcome to the family, everybody.
That's what I always say. I refer to it as my bookish family. That's how I refer to it.
Yeah,
That's how I refer to the community
great.
because it's one of those, I don't want to classify, oh, my Instagram or oh, my Twitter. I'm like, no, you guys are just the bookish family. No matter the platform or the book, it's just the bookish family across the board. That's how we're categorizing this. That's who we are. The sleuthing family. As Max growls right on cue. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but that was perfect timing.
We all have somebody growling in our families. Like, let's be honest, whether it's a dog or like the growly uncle, like whatever. But yeah, that's fine. It seems like this is a popular book amongst readers, judging by the comments, which I have to say, it's so funny. For weeks now, I've known about this for so long. I kept reading the title as The Secret Book and Scone Society, not The Secret Book and Scone Society. And so I kept wondering, I'm like, this is not much of a secret, this like book and scone thing. Like everybody in town seems to know about if they want this like specialty book recommendation or if they want these signature scones created for them. It's not a secret. And then it clicked as I was reading it. Oh no, it's their secrets.
Yep.
Books and scones.
I feel as if the commas in this are so important in this title. I mean, you got the way you say it and phrase it, I think the pause or the breath, it matters so much.
This is why punctuation is important. It changes the meaning.
And I also want to say, I think it works for me with this title because I'm not trying to jump ahead or be spoilery or whatever, but our leading lady, I feel as if we don't know her backstory until literally the last chapter. And so I feel as if her secret is one of the overarching mysteries in this book. So I think the secret idea is I think that radiates throughout the entirety of this. I'm on board with this title. It works for me in that way.
Yeah. I have to say, I know that this is the first book in the series and I haven't read any more beyond this. I'm also undecided if I am going to read more. I'll explain why. But this was a very interesting book. Like, I have to say, as somebody who I definitely don't read as many cozies as you do, but I have read my fair share of cozies, both with this book club and beyond. And this is not like most of the cozies I've read.
I ended up going on Goodreads to figure out, or I was trying to figure out my thoughts based on the categorization because yes, this is a cozy mystery in some components and it is a mystery in some ways, but I almost feel as if for me, I want to mentally categorize this and y'all are going to have to tell me what you think. I almost want to call it women's fiction, then mystery, then cozy as a subheading. Instead of cozy mystery, I want to be mystery cozy. That I kind of want to flip things around a little bit. So put it under women's fiction, then mystery, then cozy, because we have some swearing in here. It can get a little dark and it wasn't blatantly, sexual, but there were references, and we have one woman who actually refers to herself as the Jezebel of the town. You're going, okay, there's skinny dipping and clothes are coming off and things are going on, and you're going, this is not going to be on Hallmark anytime soon. Maybe Lifetime, but not Hallmark.
You know what? That's it exactly. That is for sure it. This is not a Hallmark mystery. No. This is a Lifetime LMN mystery. Like this is too saucy for the likes of Hallmark. So Yeah, something I definitely wasn't expecting. This is by far, I think, the darkest and at times most depressing
It
cozy
was.
mystery I've ever read.
I don't think I was ready for how dark it was,
I
but
wasn't. Mm-mm.
honestly, looking at the cover, I feel as if I need to take. Is
HBO.
this Kensington? Yeah, it is Kensington. I was gonna say Kensington to me, they are so smart, but I feel as if I didn't realize their intellectual level in some ways because the cover itself has
Mhm,
darker colors, right? It
mhm.
looks darker, the way it's kind of set up where we don't have
Yeah.
any cozy companion on the cover. Like, I think they wanted you to realize this is a darker cozy without telling you that, but that
Mm,
went right over my head.
that's not enough for me. I need trigger warnings. I need like specific details. I saw somebody mention it felt like this book was like a therapy book because each of the ladies had their own secret
Mhm.
issues. And yeah, there were so many components to this that I didn't expect. And I think, and this is
Mhm.
interesting because we were talking about this before we started. I recently did an interview with Mia Mansala and author of Arsenic and Adobo. And that was something that we talked about as well, is just sort of this
Mhm.
idea that we all, because of what cozy mysteries have been for so long and the way they've been marketed, we have a
Mhm.
specific idea of what we're getting when we open up a cozy mystery and who they're meant for, because it
Mhm.
seems like traditionally our leading characters are older. And when I
Yeah.
say older, I mean like 50 plus, like white women, solving
Typical
crime.
culture.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly who I picture too, in a small town and everything. And, in some ways, this book hits on those markers. But this was something that I talked about with Mia too, is just that I like that we're starting to see some more depth explored.
Mhm.
Like there's maybe a little bit of like darker tones and themes, or we're discussing the lack of representation in these. I mean, it's really interesting to me and I like it. There are a lot of things I did like about this book. There's some things that were just a little off to me, but we'll get to that. Overall, I found it an enjoyable experience, and I have to say I am curious about the
Mhm.
rest of the books in the series. I don't know if I'm going to read them right away, but I am curious. So, we'll see.
I think I need to be emotionally prepared for the journey of the book because this
Yeah.
isn't one of those, oh, let me read this at night to unwind. I'm going, oh my gosh, there's a fire. Oh my gosh, there's this. And so, and then you have these sad moments with the four women themselves. Their stories are devastating. And so you're reading this going, oh my gosh, Esther, no wonder. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not exactly like the comedic cozy mysteries. You're going, oh, there's a fun pun in this title and the dog just did something.
Right.
It's very different.
So much trauma. Like I just was it just kept layering up. Like there was I mean we start at the very beginning. One of the first things on the first page is her having this like phantom feeling
Mhm.
in her missing finger. And I was like, I literally almost texted you to say, did I open the wrong book? Like, I'm wondering if there's a different secret book in Scone Society book. And I just
Mhm.
downloaded the wrong version because it was just so unlike anything that
Yep.
I expected from Cozy Mysteries. So,
Yeah.
not in a bad way, just in a really
No.
surprising way.
That's the thing. It's one of those, it's not trying to be this is again where I feel as if I've had these conversations in sort of my philosophy or theory classes where we're going, how do we critique and not criticize? It's one of those things
Mhm,
like, no, we're just we're critiquing, we're talking about this because it's not a criticism, because this
mhm.
woman is such a talented writer. I mean, she was
Yeah.
pulling me in and she gave me all of the emotional feels. I just don't know if I was ready for them entirely. I mean, the one about giving up the baby and her family, and then you have the other one who's lost connections with her son. I mean, their
Oh my god.
backstories were so
That one
sad.
that one was real dark where she's like, "And then he went to live with my sister and we never heard from him again." And I'm like, "What?" And then she tracked him down and he's like, "I have no mother." I just was like, "This is a soap opera. Like this is taking me on a wild ride to the point where, and this is why I get what you're saying about the women's fiction element.
Mhm.
I almost stopped caring about the mystery itself.
Yes.
Which I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. But it's kind of like, if it's a cozy mystery and you're in it to solve the mystery to me was second tier in this book. Like, first tier was all about the characters, their connections, them opening up to each other, this like shared trauma bonding experience. Like, I loved this group of women. I was like, oh my God, like they have stories to be told, and we're just getting a glimpse. And
Yes.
yeah, like Vanessa is saying in the comments, their backstories are a mystery. To me, that was the much more engaging mystery than the actual mystery.
Yeah, because we don't know the guy. He literally just sits down next to her at the beginning of the book because she's going to give him her bibliotherapy, which again, we're going to have to talk about. So she's going to give him therapy, but she doesn't actually get the chance. So it's almost as if they're investing in him because they never got the chance to invest in him, which I think is really interesting a way of going about it. Like, oh, we didn't get the chance to help him when he's alive, so we'll help him now that he's passed on. But yeah, the victim himself, he's an outsider with the town, but you got these women, and I liked the fact that their backstories were revealed separately and over the duration of the book itself. So that's why I'm going, the secret in the title works for me, because we get the first one, and because that's one of the things you read about in writing 101 books, where, okay, if you're going to introduce characters, you want to introduce them differently. You want to make sure they have different names. You want to do it all on the same page, try and space it out.
Not just an exposition dump at the beginning.
But yeah, the reason why I looked down is because I listened to this on audio at first, and then I ended up picking up the book because I wanted to actually read it too. So again, I always try and prepare for y'all. But when I was listening to the audio, all of a sudden I thought the book was going to be over. But then I think it said there was something like 38 or 48 more minutes because the mystery had already been solved. And so the mystery's solved by this point in time, but there's still a significant number of pages left because we don't have her backstory yet.
The afterword.
The wrap up, the afterward. So there's still a huge number left. Whereas if this was a traditional cozy, I feel as if it would have been, and mystery solved, book done. You know, it would have been much closer to the end. So that's why, when you said that, I'm like, I gotta have my visual representation of this is where the mystery ended, and we still have more to go.
Well, and it just goes to emphasize that to me, the mystery is the B plot, because this is like, you know, my background's in screenwriting, and so I look at things when I'm reading books as like, oh, well, this is the A plot, this is the B plot. When you're reading a romance, the romantic relationship is always the A plot, because that is what we expect from every romance. B plot, it's going to be about their family or their jobs, or somebody has to move somewhere else. Cozy mysteries, the mystery, I feel like, is usually the A plot. And in this one, to me, it was the B plot, because like you said, we solved the mystery, and I was reading it on my Kindle. And what's interesting is once they solved the mystery before the afterword started, the thing pops up for you to give you your review about the book, like you're done reading. And I was like, well, this is weird. Why would you stop reading here? So, I mean, I guess they're giving you the option to just read the mystery and be done with it if you want. But why? Why would you? Why wouldn't you finish the book? And there's still a good 10% left of the book.
Oh no, I was looking at the comments, and I think everyone's kind of on the same page. We're going, it's different, but we like it. I also like you want to meet a bibliotherapist. I'm going, is this a new job? Can I apply or learn how to do this?
Yeah, it's a pretty, that part of it is, I have to say, here's my one critique of the book, is that there were so many things that, like we're talking about, felt so modern, so progressive as far as cozy mysteries especially go. Like this idea of bibliotherapy and, you know, these women, misogyny is alive and well in this town, but these women are like very, you know, feminist thinking, like very much like out here solving crime. I'm like, this is great. I love this. But then there would be certain references made and certain ways things were said that made me feel like the book was written a while ago. And so, we've got a Max interloper.
I don't know what he's doing. You can hear him barking.
Yeah, he's fine.
So here's the fun part. So the way my apartment is set up, where I have multiple bookcases, then there's a couch and the end of the bed, and so he's wedged himself in between all of these items, and he's barking. And I'm going, I can't get you. Like, what do you want from me? No, I mean, I didn't mean to get distracted. I feel as if he's always a toddler. He's just never gonna. Yeah, he's still going for it. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
He wants attention.
All the bones and trees. What? Baby.
Oh, it's like a child. If anybody can't tell, I don't have children or pets. Love them dearly, though. I feel bad for Bob. Yeah.
Bob had his problems. I wasn't really sure what was going on because I liked him at first too. I thought Nora was just being too judgmental.
Yeah, no, somebody said I felt bad for Bob despite how terrible his actions were. He's, sadly, I feel like one of those characters that's like being used for other people's nefarious plans. But no, for me, there were certain references and certain things that would happen or the way they were phrased that I had to keep looking back to be reminding myself, like, when was this book written? It was written in 2017. Because I don't know. That was just like, for me, there were some inconsistencies with like all of the women involved are in like their, for the most part, late 30s, around 40.
Yeah.
And there would just be certain references they would make or things they would say that made them sound like they were 70 years old, or movies and books they're talking about that I'm like, I'm in my 30s. This doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. So that was like the one thing that was inconsistent for me, was that there were so many ways that this book was so 2022. And then there were other ways where I kept thinking it was kind of like when we read the first Hannah Swenson book together, that came out in 2000. And that was kind of where I was caught between what's going on? Like, how old and new is this book? Estella and June are in their 40s, 50s. Yeah. No, I know. It's, I don't know. It felt really inconsistent to me as far as that went. I just, I marked it in like more than 4 or 5 places, but,
oh no, I thought when you were talking about timing of it, I thought the fact that the sheriff was so old school sexist was a little, I thought maybe that was when you're talking about time. He thought he was in the 50s going, you gotta get inside so your makeup doesn't run.
Also true. Well, and obviously, like, I'm not going to go into politics, but I will say I'm a very politically minded person and will happily talk about it on my own platform. But there's obviously people like this today who are, but it was so rampant. Like, it was like almost every male character except for Jedediah and Bob, honestly, who were these very misogynistic men that I just was like, again, this just feels, I know that that's real. Like, and it is rural North Carolina. So I'm like, okay, this is very different from like where I grew up. But yeah, that did feel a little backwards to me too.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking, the old school boy club sort of, idea going on. Like, sadly, it's still true in some places. And I mean, again, I'm in DC, and I had a professor preface a sentence like, as a young blonde woman, and I'm looking at him like, and you have how many degrees?
Yeah.
Like, it happens. And so,
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's why. I mean, I'm just glad that the people who had those ideas were the bad guys. And you're like, and we don't have to read about you in the next book.
And that was kind of the other thing was, I love that you always put up a poll of like, did you guess who did it? And I was like, well, I did, just because it was all the people who were awful. Like, it was
all the men in the book except for the EMT.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it was, in a lot of ways, like I said, it was very forward thinking of where I'd love for cozy mysteries to go. But there were also a lot of tropes. Like, I saw somebody mention Andy Griffith. There were a lot of things that just felt like, okay, the cop's the bad guy. I mean, there were just a lot of things that I'm like, all right, it's not new to me, which I'm not saying that every book we write has to be like new, fresh ideas, but when you're pushing so many new and fresh ideas, and then you still rely on specific like character types and tropes. I'm just a little divided.
I mean, I didn't guess Estella's love interest or almost love interest. I didn't guess him as the bad guy. I was thinking Nora was traumatized and thinking, oh, men in general, I have to have my guard up. So I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. And then they go, oh, the wolf in sheep's clothing. And I'm going, I didn't predict that one. That one got me. So the third guy, I didn't guess that one. I mean, the sheriff at that point, I mean, from his first sentence, I didn't like this guy. I'm going, you either need to be a victim or the bad guy, so you're not in book 2. So we need to get rid of you ASAP.
Oh, yeah.
And then Colin with the rose, you're going, okay, so we're pretty sure you're in on it. But I almost feel as if you have to then include Vanessa as the seductress to being Colin's, love interest there. I almost want to call her one of the bad guys because she knows what's going on. And then we also have the realtor who, I know he calls her Anna at one point, but I think her name Annette. Is it Annette?
Annette, yes.
Yeah, I almost want to call her like one of the bad guys too. So I almost feel as if we have 5 bad guys that you have.
It was literally everybody involved in this deal. It was everyone. Like, I mean, and that's just, every once in a while you do get like the strangers on not strangers on a train. What's the other one? Murder on the Orient Express thing.
Well, no, I mean, strangers on a train is great too. Where you're like, I'm going to kill for you. You kill for me. We're going to get away with it. No connections.
Yeah. Which I do love. I love a good strangers on the train story. But no, I mean, you get some stories where it's like the co-conspirators. And I will say Bob is one of those people where that's one of those characters that I do almost feel sorry for him. Like, and I know he killed, I know he did bad things, like, but he's a puppet. Like, those are the people that I always feel really bad for in these stories are the ones who are the puppet of somebody else's scheme. And it just, they usually end up also getting killed or getting in some way. And so it's a tough one. But yeah, it seemed like everybody except for our main cast of women and Jedediah, of course, were all the villains.
It was one of those where like, we know you're bad, just have you killed? It was like, how bad are you? Like, this is a spectrum of badness.
Yeah, exactly. And the sheriff, I mean, he was bad from the get-go. I kept thinking like, maybe he's just crooked. Maybe people are just like kind of paying him off sort of thing. But I knew that other guy, is it Colin?
Yeah, Colin.
I knew he was bad from the very beginning. I'm like, it's those ones who are like subtly bad that are just like, they say.
No, we have to call his brother into it too. So there's actually 6. I said 5 before.
Yes.
His brother with the funding with the money. Yeah, him and his brother.
Awful. Both awful. Yeah. No, it was everybody except for Jedediah.
He was really cute though. I mean, I have to admit, so I had to do a little reconnaissance there when I was trying to figure out, like, because again, this book was a little darker for me when it comes to cozies. I love all light and fun and fluffy and campy, and so I think I needed to prepare myself. So I don't mind some spoilers because again, we also know the mystery is going to be solved at the end of each book. So I was more, when I was looking for Goodreads spoilers, I was going, okay, who are the characters who are going to remain? Because who am I going to read? Who's going to have a this unveiling or traumatic? And there's a whole story about the adoption coming back being one of the storylines. Okay. And then they mention how there's a new love interest for our leading lady, Nora. And so I'm kind of trying to figure out going, okay, I know eventually we might have a new love interest. So do I want to follow this romance or not? But I loved him as the love interest for this first book. I thought he was such a great guy. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen down the road in the rest of the series, but as far as book 1 goes, he is such a cute little bookish boyfriend.
Well, and I really hope, I think it's June's the one that's had like the falling out with her son and everything, right? I really hope there's some peace with that. I really do hope that they get something. Like, I hope that they get some kind of story. Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this up, Marta's magical mystery class. Because let me tell you, so I take a lot of notes as I'm reading, and
I got my old fashioned hand. She's got her little one.
Yes, let me say, look, I know Jedediah was the hunky. He hits on a lot of traditional romance tropes as far as like the hero goes. Like, oh, he's the tall guy. I mean, when we first meet him, it's like, oh, he's wearing these big boots. And I'm like, okay. But he's tall. He's a fireman, EMT. But like one of the first things in their first time they meet, he leans over and whispers, "You smell like honeysuckle and blackberries. It's nice." And I'm like, okay, add that to number 1 on the list of things that you could not say to me in real life, only in a book, because in real life, he would be a serial killer. He would be the killer. He would be cutting her up and wearing her as a jacket. Like, because that is not what you say. That is not what you say to someone. I have like a running list of things where I'm like, I'm okay with this in my books, but in real life, it's a no. And that's very high up on the list. So
amazing. He's gonna be cutting her up. You're like, he's gonna be pulling a Dexter on her.
Yep. Creepy.
It's so funny. So again, this is one of those, I'm very OCD when it comes to washing my hands. I'm very like, I'm always using sanitizer and stuff. And so ever since I was in high school and I've been using the scented Bath and Body Works hand sanitizer, people would randomly tell me I smell good. So like that just went right over my head when you made that reference. Like, people were saying that to me for like a very long time. If you do me in person, you're probably gonna say, "Oh, I like your perfume." I mean, I've gotten into taxis or like Ubers where the person's like, "Oh, are you wearing perfume? It smells nice." Like, I mean, so this has happened to me a lot.
But look, there is smelling nice, and Renee said it perfectly in the chat. There is smelling nice, but he points out the specific notes of what she smells like. It's not like just saying,
"Yeah,
oh wow, you have what's your shampoo? Like it smells really good." It's like, you smell like blackberries and honeysuckle. I'm just like, the reference point.
We've talked about Frasier before, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Niles has this huge crush on Daphne, and one time he goes, "No, she doesn't. She smells like peach blossoms and honey and jasmine and honeysuckle." And then he waits a moment. Everyone's looking at him and goes, "Well, at least from here." He tries to cover it up that he realized what she smelled like, and he awkwardly walked away. But yeah, there was no awkwardly acknowledging that. It was just meant to be, suave, I guess.
That's it. I will say I do, and I saw somebody else mention this in the chat. I did like that he has his own mystery as well. Like he has his own backstory. They all have very traumatic backstories, I feel like, that have brought them together. This town, man, let me tell you, I would not live in Miracle Springs. Like, it's not for me. It does sound, I kept trying to kind of picture this place because, they talk about the bathhouses and then she has this, old train car that she's turned into her bookstore. And she also lives in a train car, and there's the bakery. So I was like, it's got the cute small town flair, which I like, but wouldn't live here. This is too many people with really sad backstories, like living here. But yeah, it does seem charming to pass through. I'd want to get a scone, and I'd want to have a bibliotherapy session. Like, and honestly, the train car thing, if there's an Airbnb, sign me up. Like, I am there.
It's so funny when you mentioned the people passing through, though. Like, even the people passing through had traumatic backstories or traumatizing moments, because there was the one man who stopped in the bookstore and you find out his daughter has cancer and he doesn't know how to deal with it and help her. Yeah. And you're going, oh my gosh, you don't even live in the town where everyone's traumatized. You're bringing more trauma to it.
Like, is it on a list? Is it on like a BuzzFeed list of like top places to visit if you're going through a tough time? I don't know.
So maybe this is I've taken one too many psychology classes, but I'm really intrigued by the fact that these people who have their own secrets or their own traumas are helping other people overcome their traumas. So we have woman she's dealing with, trying to come to terms with the adoption, but she knows how to cook this scone to help you reach this point and bring back your memories. Nora, she can help you with your reading list, even though she's dealing with her own emotional, she's still trying to parse out those things. And so I kind of like the fact that it's going, you don't have to be perfect to help people. I kind of thought that was,
and they all do it, but I love it. They all do it in different ways too. Like I'm terrible with names right now, so I'm just going to tell everybody that right now. But Nora is the baker, right?
No, Nora is our leading lady.
Nora's the leading lady.
Then we have Hester, who's the baker.
June, and then June is the one that works in the bathhouses. Yes. Okay, great, got it. And
Estella is
the hairdresser, right? Okay, got it. Because here's my thing. Nora offers people books as a way of like, here's something that'll guide you towards moving forward. Like, here's something to read, reflect on. How can I apply these principles to my life and like hopefully solve whatever problems I'm going through, or at least cope with them. And then you have Hester, who she's giving you baked goods to reflect. Like, her baked goods are all about evoking these memories that you've had from the past. And then June with the bathhouses. I mean, I know she's not like, it's not her specifically, but like when you think of going to like a bathhouse or a sauna or a hot springs, it's to like sweat out the toxins. It's get rid of like the negative. And then Estella is like at least I know when I go to get my hair cut, it's like a therapy session, is like talking to your hairdresser and like offloading some of your baggage onto this other person. So, I mean, it really is interesting that not only are they going through their own stuff, not only are they trying to help people, but they're all doing it in unique ways, which I think, again, is just like a testament to like the level of character building in this book is off the charts.
I'm like, very, very talented. So talented. Her writing. Good. The thoughtfulness that she put into creating these, again, these are fictional women, but they feel so real to me.
Yes.
Because when you're mentioning the beautician, she talks about that. And she even said, it doesn't matter how long a woman's hair is. It doesn't matter how I'm doing this, but when you turn around the chair and they feel confident, and I'm going, that is an amazing line of dialogue. I just love the way she said it, and even shined a light on that, because when you go to the hairdresser, you come out feeling all, shiny and new in a way. You're like, you kind of have that little ego boost, and she does that for people. And I like that she acknowledged that and said that she wanted to make people feel like that. Because even though this woman, the other women in town are judging her and having all these negative emotions thrust upon her for her. She reminded me of Samantha from Sex and the City. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I also totally forgot about the knitting. June knits the healing socks. That was the other thing. I forgot about the knitting, which is fantastic. I love that. And I love their idea of putting together these like the healing baskets to like share, because that's something I treasure. This, like, I'm a big shopper of independent businesses, and so Etsy for years has been like one of my go-to places to shop. And but that's like anytime one of my friends is expecting and like she needs some like pampering for herself, anytime it's like my mom's birthday, or I had a friend just go through a breakup, like I immediately send them a basket of like self-care goodies. And a lot of the things they touched on, I was like, yes, you put in like some tea, you put in a good book, you put in something to like exfoliate your body. Like, this is everything. So no, I loved that idea. And I'm hoping that that's something that carries on into the next books, because it seems like they're kind of starting this like little, maybe like side business together. Although I don't know if it's a business or just like we just want to do good for our community kind of thing, which is fine either way.
I thought it was so cute though, because that was exactly it. They were talking about how they didn't have money to offer, but they felt badly about the people who had lost their jobs and they wanted to do something to lift them up. I thought I mean, the basket, they were just talking this out. This was just, again, I love how she's the author, and I'm going, but these characters off the top of their heads, they're thinking this. And so off the top of their heads, they're going, oh, we can do this and that. And it just sounds so generous and thoughtful. And I'm going, oh, this is so magnanimous of y'all. And I mean, I'm going, you're not spending actual money, but you're giving them a lot of items, which is money in a way. I'm going, you guys are going to make a real difference in this town. I'm going, I know I love you.
It's so true. You know, it's interesting because I am seeing some more people talk about like how it's kind of like a mashup of genres. I feel like personally, I would have maybe liked this more if it was a women's fiction. I kind of feel like I didn't need the mystery because there was just so much fantastic character development that I just didn't care about the mystery. Like, I mean, and again, I feel like the first book in a series is usually devoted more towards setting up the world and the characters and the relationships. So I understand that. I understand that usually the first book in a series is not necessarily like the best book. It's the same for romance. You know that. I know that. But yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, like, what if this had just been written as a women's fiction about this group of women who live in this town and they gravitate towards one another? I don't know if they would need the mystery to bring them together. Like, I feel like they could have been brought together just by being here. It's got kind of like a Virgin River sort of vibe to me.
Someone mentioned that up above. I saw that they mentioned
it was nice.
It reminded them of Virgin River. No, I mean, I think I'm going to go and say I like the fact that we have the cozy component with it, because that is what drew them together, because they had been living in the same town, but they just never connected. This was the thing that brought them together. They're all sitting in the sheriff's waiting room. They're all sitting there at the police station, and then they're all trying to figure things out in her bookshop. And I also thought it was funny because that's how Estrella came in to say, like, oh, did you see what happened? And she's going, no, what happened? So it did bring them together in a way, which was...
It did.
I mean, I almost am curious if there would be another way to bring them together, but I like the fact that it kind of gave these people who had a hard time trusting, it gave them a reason to be together. And I feel as if, again, I feel like Ellery Adams needs to have honorary degrees across the board, because I'm going, the psychology of these characters. But when you think about it, like they're trying to actually do something outside of themselves, which is actually helping them within themselves. And so I think it works. When you said mashup, I'm like, that's a perfect way of phrasing it. I don't know who commented that, but that's why I'm going, I think the cozy component worked, but I am going to stick with my women's fiction mystery and then cozy. So I like the way you're phrasing it. I'm just curious if there would be another way for them to like get together.
And that's not to say that's not to say we haven't had like women's fiction books that have had a mystery component as part of them. Like, there definitely have been women's fiction books with mysteries, you know? So I mean, you're totally right though. Like, this is what brings them together, because it's this shared experience. Like, this is what gives us the reason to like connect. And I also like that for the man who dies at the beginning, you know, because he's kind of like the outsider, they're each their own outsider in a way. Like, they each have their own. So it's nice to see, because I feel like this is something that always bothers me in cozy mysteries. And trust me when I say I am a fan. I love this genre. I have been watching Murder, She Wrote since before I could walk. However, there's always the part of me that's like, why are they always butting their heads into this murder? Like, this is nothing. Sometimes it has to do with them. Sometimes it's like their boss, or they've been accused of murder, or, you know, something. I'm like, okay. But for the people who just kind of get involved when it's like, you didn't know him, you didn't know. Why do you care? Why does this have anything to do with you? So I liked that they could all not only come together and like get to know each other better, but they were so invested in solving this man's murder. And he didn't mean like he was, nobody knew him like personally, nobody had a connection to him. It was just that they had this like shared feeling of being an outsider like he was. And that's so strong. Like, that's to me, that's like such a stronger motivation for wanting to get involved than it is if it's like, oh, he died at my store, so I had to get involved. Like, I loved, because it was so much more emotional.
Yep. I'm just nodding, going everything that she's saying. Yep. Like, check, every sentence, check.
So
I'm
good.
because that's my biggest pet peeve. I mean, I love Agatha Ray's in the TV show, and it helps that
I do
she's so
too.
adorable and hysterical. But like, she does that thing sometimes where you're going, "Oh, what's going on over here? I know."
Busybody.
But that's who she is, and after a certain point, you just go with it. Because also too, it's established by that point that that's how she is, and when you have series, sometimes when that happens and you're going, this is contrived, this feels like we're trying to push something that doesn't really want to go there. All of this felt so organic and natural, which is why we're saying all those things. I'm going, yeah, I never was questioning them. I was never going, oh yeah, why do you care? And even then too, I think for me, the selflessness of it, because usually a lot of times they're trying to clear their own name, or they're trying to just help out or something, or there's usually an emotional component of, oh, I got to clear myself, I got to clear my best friend, my father, my mother. And yes, we have Estrella who gets accused, but even then she's still in the jail cell asking questions about what they're doing outside and helping this man. She's not as concerned about herself, she's asking about the other mystery. I mean, the way they're going about it is totally unique in this book for me.
Yeah, no, this, like I said at the very beginning, this is a cozy mystery that's unlike any other I've read. And I think a lot of people, and it's clear from our chat that a lot of people really like this. And I'm sure it's probably because it is so different. There's so much character building. I think there's also people who might not like it, but I mean, we can say that for any book, but yeah, I'm definitely curious about the other books, because now that we know so much about them, and I'm sure their stories will unfold and we'll get even more details and they'll connect even more closely. I wonder like what the following books will be like. Like, will there be less time devoted to the secrets part of their society, and will it focus more on solving the actual mysteries? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm very intrigued. I will say this is something I do on my podcast. I always do petty notes, because they're things that I'm like, this isn't a knock at the author. This isn't a knock at the book. It's just me being petty. And so one of the first things was when they would talk about these personalized scone recipes. And I was like, this is so interesting. Like, that she tailor makes your scone for you depending on like who she thinks you are, what your vibe is, what you need. And I thought that was really cool. But the petty part of me was like, how is she doing that? Like, how are people waiting 30 minutes to an hour for their scone? And it turns out, yes, they are. And that part, I couldn't let it go. I was like, she's making a basic dough and then tailoring this to everybody is waiting in line for like an hour for a scone. What is going on? I am somebody who works at coffee shops all the time. I am not waiting 40 minutes for a scone. Like, it's so yeah, that was one of mine.
It's totally fair. I was curious too. I liked the fact that it was explained though, because I was curious when she was talking about creating unique scones, how that happened. And so the idea of having a base scone, but then I liked that she explained, oh, I made him this peppermint mocha and I did this and I did that. And then I had to let it cool. Then I put the icing on. I'm kind of curious why she didn't connect with Nora before, going, oh, I have this long process sometimes. Are there books I can have on display? Maybe I can put out magazines. I'm curious what the inside of her shop looks like, because I feel as if she needs to have tables for waiting areas. There's tables dedicated to the specific need of scones over there, like just the scone people.
And else maybe here. Maybe there's people who come in that are just like, no, I just need something to go like right now. Like, is that an option too? Like, can they just get the grab and go scone? Like, it's a fun, Marta said, I think it's a great marketing gimmick. It totally is. I actually remember reading a book that I want to say was like a fantasy, paranormal book where it was a coffee shop and they did something similar. But you're thinking about with coffee, you just make the beverage and it's good to go. You're not waiting 40 minutes to bake a and you're making one single scone that's going into the oven. One. Anyway, I know, petty.
I love the practicality. You're hung up on that. You're like, how is this possible? I mean, if you're gonna be, first of all, peppermint mocha scone sounds so good. If you're making one, make a batch.
Yeah, I'm like, everybody wants that.
I'm like, if I hear you offer that, or I see someone walk away with that, I might be going, I'm gonna have what he's having. Like, that looks really good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm all for making those into a full batch, not just a single serving. Peppermint mocha
all year round. I'll have peppermint mocha all year round. Like the drink, the scone, any type of baked good, I am here for it. I used to, when I was living in Minnesota, I lived right by a coffee place that made the best scones fresh every day. And you would have to go there early to get the scones, and they had different flavors every day. So it was always a surprise. Oh, I love it. Use a toaster oven.
I saw that. I was like, I gotta put that comment up there.
Oh gosh, yeah. I have to say, I did think about running out to get a scone today, because I do have one place, a coffee place that does sell them, and they are good. But alas, it didn't happen. So yeah. Well, okay. So
I ordered, again, I'm one of those people where I'm like, if I'm going to place an order for delivery, I'm going to make it worth my time and effort. And I'm glad I did, because I ended up ordering the scone, but they were out. Now I have my cinnamon drizzled, bun from Panera Bread. So I didn't get my blueberry scone, but I do have my cinnamon bun. So I needed to bring a treat to this session. I was planning for the live stream. I was like, I'm going to wear my shirt and everything. So I do have the cinnamon bun. They were sold out of scones. Maybe they didn't make them today. I don't know, Panera Bread. But so I did have to get a sweet treat for today, because obviously
I love it. No, I might. It's still early in the day for me here, so I might go out and get one afterwards. I don't know. Okay, so this is a great idea. I love that somebody put this in the chat. I thought about this while reading too. N Sandoval 7 said her shop cafe is one of those trendy shop cafes that you go to purely for the experience, like going to an ice cream museum purely for the IG posts. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where when I was reading it, in my mind, I was like, yes, if this is being written in 2017, this is where I would have gone with it. Like, I would have said, oh my gosh, you won't believe this. I've made a following on Instagram for creating these experiences where you get to come to my scone shop and I tailor make a scone for you. Like, I'm with you. That was exactly where my mind went. And so another reason why I was like, is this 2017? Because I would totally go. I would go. I'm one of those people. I will go to the pop-ups for all sorts of stuff. I lived in LA for 5 years, and that was like really hot. It's killing me that I can't go to the Bridgerton experience right now.
I'm going on Thursday.
Oh, amazing. I have friends who have gone, and I've seen the pictures, and it looks like so much fun. So I hope you have a blast.
I've been, I feel like I've been doing a lot of like staying at home. I feel as if I was really tired and burnt out. And, in the last couple of weeks, I'm going, you know what? I'm actually going to do something for myself. And I've been wanting to do that. I went and bought the ticket. So I am going on Thursday for the Bridgerton.
What are you going to wear? That's the real question.
I actually need to get dressed up and do hair and makeup for a change.
Are you gonna go like full period costume? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. You guys might have to help me figure this out, because I do have some tiaras around that I've been putting on the bookcase. So I don't know. Maybe I will have to get dressed up and figure things out.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You should do what my friend did, who just went, was she took an old bridesmaid dress that she had and just like bedazzle it and throw some lace on it, and it ended up looking pretty cool. I was like, what a great way to reuse a dress you'll never wear again. So
I did. So I want to say this is pre-COVID. I went to Book Lovers Con and I bought this giant flowy skirt. It had that tulle effect. It was, it was one of those, you felt like a little princess wearing it, because they had this event, and it was one of those, you dress up, fairy tale, and you get it. It was just, I bought this skirt specifically for the event. I'm going, you know what? I might actually be able to wear this thing again. I got it on Amazon for, I don't know, $19 or something. Going, I can actually wear this and do second use. And, maybe I can figure something out with that. So I do need to get creative.
Yes. Oh no, please. I think you need to share like some pictures, some options online. People can help you choose. And also I see some people in the chat also being like sharing their ideas for like treating themselves. Yes. Everybody deserves, especially after the last couple of years we've had,
Yeah.
please go treat yourself. I've decided I'm going to take myself on a little like writer's retreat by myself for a couple nights. And I'm like, I'm excited. I'm going to go stay in a vintage camper. It's in like a vintage camper park. So I'm like, great. That's how I'm going to spend, a couple days of my time next month.
Oh, that sounds so great. So I got hacked. There was a whole Instagram thing that happened, and I had this moment where I'm like, you know what, not today, because obviously things are going on, and I was so happy that we were doing the live stream. Like, you know what, I am gonna have to
Yeah.
do like a 1 week social media break just be away and
Good.
just do something. So I don't know when that's gonna happen, but at some point I might just have to do like 72 hours without technology and just be
Yes.
a person.
Oh, it feels so much better when you do it too. I wasn't on very much this weekend and I was like, why do I feel so good? And I was like, that's why right there. But I did want to bring up one thing that I loved about, I mean, if it's not clear, I love just like the characters in this book in general, but I liked at the end of the book, the author included discussion questions for if you were having like a book club meeting and you wanted to talk about the book. And, a lot of them are pretty standard questions like, oh, let's talk about the character. Blah, blah, blah. But I loved this question. She said, some of the most famous works of literature involve a scarred man.
Yep.
His damage is often romanticized. Don't like the word damage in that sentence, but it's fine. How do you feel about stories that involve less than attractive women, scarred and or deformed women? And I think that is such an incredible conversation to be had, just because it's not only pointing out we do have this tremendous lack of women with scars or any kind of distinguishing features in books, movies, any kind of media in general.
Oh yeah,
But
I've given this
also,
a lot of thought. That's why I'm
yeah,
nodding like, yes, tell me
but
more.
then also adding on to that and reminding you of the fact that she does work in books and that when she's offered all these books by that Icelandic nurse in the hospital, they're all books about men. And and most of them are, I would say, romances in a way, in that it's a lot of books like Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, where there is a love element involved. And why aren't we seeing that for women? Why aren't we seeing stories about people, not even necessarily men, but people falling in love with women regardless of whether or not they have these scars, burns, whatever it is, like Nora? It really sent me down a spiral because I started thinking about my own reading experience. And I was like, oh my God, like, how many books have I written that have, I definitely have read plenty of romances that have disabled characters who, use a cane or in a wheelchair, but this is different. We're talking about somebody who has like a scar, a burn, something that's happened to them because of an accident. And I had a really hard time coming up with any that I thought of.
Oh no, I've actually, yeah, again, my dissertation, romance genre fandom, started doing research for that. Oh my gosh, it feels forever ago now. What, 2016, 2017? And so there were days where I was like looking at walls, thinking about things. And like
Yeah.
that was one of the topics where I actually made a note to myself of, for a future creative project, have the heroine be someone dealing with the scars and have it be physical scars, because it is such a trope for the man to be scarred and the woman to see past his scars. And yet it's so interesting how we now have the Big Beautiful Woman BBW books. And that was this groundbreaking thing. And I'm going, okay, but now we need to like push that envelope even a little bit further now. We got to take it farther. Like that's not the same thing as this. But yet at the same time, it was, you still want to give them kudos and credit for, doing plus size representation and doing things of, okay, this character, she has all these different highlights and colors in her hair, and we have these tattoos, and we have this. And the closest I've seen are dark romance novels where the heroines have, gone through things, but the hero is also traumatized and stuff. And it's not the same as having a contemporary romance or one of those Beauty and the Beast flipped around. So I want to see people do that and see how they interpret. And again, I myself was trying to figure out what could be a story that I did that for, because I was having a hard time plotting and thinking things out. Because I mean, we're gonna have to make this one heck of a guy, because sometimes it's hard to figure out how you would do that love at first sight or instantaneous attraction if you're going, okay, but you really do need to actually catch their soul in this first light sort of moment. And I really think that this is a great conversation topic.
I can tell you the romance that I would see. It would be that they are friends to lovers, and that they have been friends. They've been you could go a few different ways, but to me, it would be a friends to lovers romance where they were friends before she was scarred, before she had this happen to her, whatever it is, and that this other character has always loved her regardless of that. But then at the same time, I'm like, but I don't necessarily like sending the message too that it's like you had to have already loved this person before they got scarred, because I'm like,
and
but what about the people? Exactly. Yeah. No. And honestly, Renee put it really well in the chat and said, it reminds me that women get older, men get distinguished. And it's true. There's a big difference. That there's also, am I allowed to swear?
Depends on the swear.
Okay, I'll keep it PG. But there's a great old YouTube sketch with Amy Schumer, and it's got all these fantastic comedic actresses in it. It's called Your Last Effable Day, and it's all about, like, as you get older as a woman, you age out of these ideas that people have. When do you go from being the leading lady to being the mother? Because these are the only things that you get to be. There's no in between. And so aging for women has never been kind in media. And I think the same can be said for any sort of like physical, I don't want to say deformities, but just imperfections, I guess. And so I would love to see it more. Because we see Jed and Nora connect like that. I mean, he loves the way she smells. So, it's love at first smell. That's, sometimes how it happens.
I get the impression, though, she's still beautiful. Yeah. It's one of those, I get the impression she was a 10 or like a 9.5, like 9.999. Like she was a 10 before the accident. And so her beauty is still there. But she does have, so and also this is, I'm trying to kind of say this in the nicest possible way. She's missing like a little bit of her pinky. We're not talking like missing a hand. I mean, there was a Ruby Dixon book where the main character, I think she had it like from here, like she was missing the entire hand. And I was like, I was so happy. This is in her Dragon series. When I read the book, and she was so thoughtful with how she developed the character, had the interactions, and how she wrote it in. I'm going, this is incredible. I am so happy to read this book. And the character was awesome. And again, I know she blew up this year, and I've been reading her since like 2015. But she had that character, and I'm going, that to me, that was great. Like I'm not saying like I want people to go lose things. I'm not saying
but that's a good example, because like I have read several romances where one of the male characters is like maybe usually it's like they've come back from war, or they're something where they've been in some kind of combat, and that now they have, I don't know, they're missing the bottom half of one of their legs. And it's always still a male character. And I think it's because we just naturally assume women have a much better grasp of showing empathy and vulnerability and accepting people. And it's not coming out of nowhere. Like these ideas that we have and about these roles and the feelings that we have are rooted in reality in some way. And so, I would love to see more female characters. Oh, that Evie Mitchell book is great, by the way. The Not My Type. So good. So good. Yeah, that one's great. But and she's in a wheelchair. So that's great. Iron Widow has our leading lady as a wheelchair. Oh, because of feet binding. Oof, yikes. All right. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that we're seeing more disabled characters. We're seeing more, like we said, plus size characters. We're seeing more characters representative of the world we live in, which is great. More, just give me more, and give me more in cozies. I will 100% read them.
Oh no, I mean, I also, again, I was just looking down at my notes. I mean, I love how she has these elements, but also she has such details with the writing where she has the characters, but she has such a detailed setting where you feel like you know these characters because they are so realistic. But even the settings themselves, I was just looking down at my notes and I'm
Yeah.
so not trying to like go off on a tangent here, but I like the fact that again, the reason why I thought of this was because the mugs had the funny quotes that were telling, the inner
My
thoughts of,
mugs. I have
yeah,
that too.
I'm a redhead, I'm actually a unicorn because I'm so rare. And she had 100 plus mugs, all with unique sayings and images. And I liked the fact that each character had something where, they were, the mugs were showing who they were on the
Yeah.
inside. And we have all these different ways of having these characters show who they are, show their personalities, come out and do these different things. And I just wanted to, like, for some reason, the mug thing came to mind. We were talking about representation of, they're saying, okay, this is who I am. I might just be on a mug, but I'm telling you who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of great conversations revolving around literature too that I think that reveal a lot about the characters themselves. Like the one that I'm thinking of specifically is when Nora has the conversation with Colin about, I think they're talking about Le Petit Prince, and
Yeah, the Little
then
Prince. Yep.
yeah, and like whatever, I forget what else she recommends him, but yeah, that I was like, oh, see, this is telling me a lot about his character based off of like
Mhm.
how he responds to this. But
Right?
yeah, I honestly, the idea of bibliotherapy, which I don't know if that's like a real thing or not, but I honestly think it should be, because like you might get like a therapist who recommends you like a book or two to read, but usually it's like more about um self-improvement. It's not necessarily like about a fictional character's
Mhm.
story that you can connect to that will then guide you to make your own realizations about self-improvement. Oh, somebody said it is. That's, I mean, honestly, I love learning things when I read books. And so learning that that's a thing sounds really interesting. Very interesting how we discuss more of the women's issues rather than the murders. Yes, I think this theme could stand alone without the murder. That was my whole thought too, is just I get that the murder brings them together, but
Mhm.
in another world I could read this women's fiction novel and not have the murder.
So you reminded me. So this was the conversation where I had, my little antenna was up because I've been very open with Mr. Darcy being a forever book boyfriend. And
uh
so when, when they have the conversation of it's not Mr. Darcy, I'm going, okay, he's not your literary man. Who is
I
your
already
literary
know
man?
I already know which conversation you're going to talk about.
No, no, but we have to talk about who their literary crushes are. So we have Atticus Finch, we have Othello, Heathcliff, Chief Inspector John Luther, we have a Greek god or two, then Mr. Rochester, Horatio Hornblower, and Sherlock Holmes.
And I thought Rhett Butler was in there too somewhere.
We referenced Rhett Butler, but these were the two women citing their things. And
Okay.
so that was June and Hester. And so eventually they
Yeah.
do mention that they have other literary men referenced throughout the book, but this was their crush worthy. And I was going, you're going to include Othello, who killed Desdemona? We got Atticus Finch, who's the widower. He doesn't have a wife. You just know he's a good dad. I'm like, I don't know how to parse that out.
I can honestly, of all the people listed there, I can see the Atticus Finch thing probably more than any of them. Like, I was like,
she doesn't end up with Heathcliff. I mean, spoiler alert.
no.
We should
But
take
Atticus
a hair to the
Finch to
grave.
me was the one on that list where I was like, I can get on board with the Atticus Finch one. Like he's a good dad. I mean, also I'm kind of picturing Gregory Peck in the
I was
movie
about to say, he
version.
also played Horatio Hornblower, so I'm like, I think we can kind of also see Ellery Adams might have a little bit of a crush on Gregory Peck, and I
Yeah.
also do as well. I mean, Roman Holiday, he's awesome, so I'll give
I'm
you that
like
one, Ellery.
distinguished. He wears glasses. He's a good lawyer. He
Yes.
stands up for things he believes in. I was like, yeah, I could thirst trap. I could thirst trap him. Like, I could get on board with Atticus Finch.
But I mean, we're not Mr. Darcy. It was just so funny to me because they just threw him out totally. And I'm going, you got to tell me who your literary crushes are right now, women, because I am curious. No. I mean, I was just curious when they threw them out there. I'm going, okay, if it's not Mr. Darcy, who? Because she even had the line about, you don't want to take the top hat and cravat. I'm going, but have you seen Matthew McFadden as Mr. Darcy walking across the moon with the sunrise?
He is my Mr. Darcy too. Like, it will always be Matthew McFadden, not, and Colin Firth is fine. I have nothing against Colin Firth, but it will always be Matthew McFadden to me. But yeah, I'm with the people in the comments. Heathcliff sucks. He is like the worst. I cannot stand that man at all. My literary crushes, it's not going to be anybody from like classic literature, like, just because a lot of the classic literature I've read has been written by men, and I don't think it's necessarily put men in the best light. So I feel like Jane Austen is somebody who, like, because they're men written by a woman, is something that I'm much more inclined to fall in love with. So I think that's why we see this on TikTok all the time, is like the trend of men written by a woman, like, oh, you're a man written by a woman. And I love that. So I think it'd be hard for me to pick out a classic lit man. Yep, because there are plenty of book boyfriends I have from the romance world.
Yeah. My first thought was Arthur Hale from, Archer's Voice. I was like, if you're going to go contemporary, I mean, I also love Lorraine Heath. Any guy she writes, The Outlaw and the Lady. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Lee Raven. I loved him.
For me, it's Joanna Shoop. Joanna Shoop has this great series that's set in Gilded Age New York City. And all of the men are like on the shadier side, but they also have like good intentions. I'm like, oh my gosh, you just made this man who's like, runs a gambling hall and is basically like the mafia, but he also gives back to the kids. Like, oh, I love it. So she probably writes my favorite swoon-worthy book boyfriend.
And she's so nice too. I've met her a couple of times, and she's one of those authors where she's very personable. And sometimes you have the authors at events who you can tell are introverts and are very uncomfortable being around their readers, but she loves talking about her books and her characters. I mean, that's why when you mentioned her, I'm going, yes, her characters, book boyfriends. Mm-hmm. I love how we're talking about romances, though. We're not talking about, as Ernest Hemingway.
Well, because look, here's the thing. And I think this is why I noticed there's a lot of overlap between romance readers and cozy mystery readers, mystery readers in general, and romance readers. Yeah. But something about this book reads so much, like we said, like women's fiction. Women's fiction ties in with romance so much of the time. And so this was almost more like reading a romance women's fiction than it was like reading a mystery, because the mystery to me just wasn't as much of a mystery. I don't know. That's my one thing about this book, is that I'm just like, the mystery to me wasn't worth it. Like, it just, I don't know. It was the rich guys who are upset because their women don't love them enough.
Oh yeah. Their motivation was the worst part of their mystery. The motivation of feeling unloved or unappreciated by the women in their lives. It wasn't just the wives. The sheriff threw in his daughters feeling unappreciated.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, if these kids are under 10, they're not going to understand that daddy's working hard for his money. They're not going to have any.
This is why it was so weird. The women in this book were living in like the 2020s, and the men were all living in like the 1950s. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with you, because like, I'm glad that she made them villains. Fine with me. Also, I love whoever in the chat said Gomez Adams is their fictional boyfriend. Great pick. Awesome. There is no man devoted more to a woman than there is Gomez Adams.
Mon chéri.
Treats her like a queen. That's it. That's fantastic. But
you could do anything to him, and he'd still be like, I love you.
Yeah. Exactly. So, no, it was interesting. Like, I am curious about more in the series just because I'm kind of wondering, like, I wonder who the bad guy will be in the next book. I'm curious like what the next mystery will be. So, I think I've got it in me to read at least one more of these.
Oh no, I think for me, I just have to be in the frame of mind of knowing I'm going to be taking on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
I just need to accept that going in,
Mhm.
because again, when I do the cozy mysteries, for the most part, I'm going, oh, we got the cute, funny, cozy companion. The dog ran away. Now we got to go chase him. Oh, he found the dead body. We have these things where you have these coincidence and the fun pun titles. And I like this one. It was so good though. It was such a good,
Mhm.
she's such a talented writer. It was a well-written book. I just need to be ready for this. Oh my gosh, we're going to be taken on a ride and just be ready to go. And again, I think also kind of putting that mystery on the back burner, being, yeah, I don't need to solve the mystery. I'm not going to play the whodunit game. I'm just going to read this book and follow these characters. So I think switching off the whodunit of, oh, solve the mystery, don't worry about it, just don't worry about it and just be along for the ride, and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Marta had an interesting thought and said, what if EA, the author, pitched this to her editor as these women meet while eating at the Pink Lady Cafe and listening to Jack talk about his mom's cancer battle. So
Right.
interesting idea. This is my problem with that though. And have you watched the show on Netflix? What is Sweet Magnolias? I think it's called
Oh, you mentioned this
Magnolias.
before. Yeah. You told
Okay.
me to watch it. So I remember I did back when you mentioned this, like however long ago that live stream
Yeah,
was.
it's very cute. And so like what's cute about that is like these are like friends who have bonded throughout life,
Mhm.
but there's been this one woman that basically tied the three of them together. And I feel like that would work in this book if it wasn't necessarily like Jack talking about his mom's cancer battle. Like if it was a character who they were all somehow tied to, like in a very personal way, that would make sense to me. But
Yeah.
like, it's not necessarily, especially when it's about a character who's not like on the page, that it's not like part of their actual story. I don't know if that would be enough to bring them all together. I mean, I guess it could, but it would make more sense to me if it was somebody that's like, oh, this is like the mom of the town and she's raised us all in some way or brought us in or, something. But yeah, Jack, a man who can cook and donates money to cancer patients. I know.
I love that. I love how we have these references to characters whom we don't really meet, but I'm going, I want to meet you. Who was the other one? They talked about him coming out in college and being used to adversity and like overcoming things. You're like, yeah, he's not going to be pushed
Yes.
around. And I'm going, how is
Oh,
he not a main focus here?
he was like the coroner or the
That was, yes,
medical
yes,
examiner,
yep,
because when they mention him at first, it's just like a throwaway line of like, oh, well, we told him to look for
yep.
this poison in him. And then when the women mention him, they're like, oh yeah, he's built like a linebacker. He came out in college or whatever. And I'm like, you mean to tell me there has been like a hunk of a man, a queer man in this town this entire time, and we don't get to spend any time with him? I am displeased.
We need to have a spin-off novella told from his point of view, and I will be there for it.
Yes. I want
Amazing.
him. I want to know everything about him. I want to know why he's in this town. I want to know what his queer experience has been in this town. Like, I want his story. So I don't think I'll get it, but I do
And we
want
can
it.
tell that this woman knows how to write. I almost feel as if this is the thing that's mind-blowing to me. She didn't just create this memorable protagonist. Every single character in this book, even if you have trouble remembering the name, you're going, oh, the beautician, oh, that, like, you know who
The
they are because they
coroner.
feed with
Yes.
you. I mean, and again, he's not even in this book as a character that they interact with. But I remembered him and I was going, I need more of his story. I need more from him. This woman can write.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
going down to her prowess of,
It's
I don't know how she learned, but this woman is very, very talented.
It's so true. Well, and somebody just put in the comments, I'm hoping we get to actually meet the Emmy and Jack in other books. And I will say, like, having gone to school for writing, this is like one thing that does bother me a little bit in books is like when you're talking about characters, but we never actually really get to spend time with them. Like,
Yeah.
you're making them a character in the scene, but they're not actually there. And it's like, I prefer getting to know characters through their own words and actions. And so I would love to see more of them in the series. I love this book. If Netflix or Hulu wants to pick it up. Yeah, I mean, I think if you could pitch it like it's Sweet Magnolias meets Hannah Swenson, like I feel like you definitely could make something out of this.
Oh, I mean, I loved the idea. Again, you have the pink ladies, you have the gingerbread house. I mean, I want to see what her little house and bookshop looks like in the worst way.
Caboose. Oh,
I almost want to say I loved that you mentioned Netflix and Hulu, because Hulu has only murders in the building, and so I feel as if they might be more open to the mystery components.
This one doesn't have enough mystery though. Like it's I'm telling you, the mystery is lacking in this one to pitch this as a mystery. And look, I'm just saying this because I worked in TV. This is literally just screenwriting Kelly that's like, nope, it's not gonna work. But
I was saying Hulu because they also have Golden Girls. They have all the women's TV shows, and so it's so funny because I go through like their feeds. So I'm going like, if you can pitch it in a way where it's a hybrid of things they're already offering.
I have to say, I'm actually kind of surprised there aren't more. Like, I feel like the only cozies I've seen adapted have been on Hallmark. Like, and I'm sure maybe there are other like TV movie channels where they've been doing it, but I don't know of any that are on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon or HBO. And I kind of am surprised, like considering how much people love small town romance and how that's been having like a hot moment, especially on Netflix. Why not a cozy? Like, I don't understand. Like, well, and I guess Acorn, like they're adopting them in other countries, but not here.
It's so funny. I started writing a blog post for just my personal website forever ago. I mean, I probably started this blog post back in 2020. I mean, again, burnout for me during COVID has been very, very real. And I was writing down all the cozy mystery TV shows going to this point because I did the research. And so you do have a couple. Killer Hair was on Lifetime. Acorn has all of their different shows. I was making my lists. So now you're lighting the fire going, okay, I got to actually finish that post and share it. So to give you a little bit of a jumping off point. But it isn't as prominent as you would think, especially with the way you would think that they would already have the sets and everything, especially if they have a Hallmark sort of setup or, Netflix doing their adaptations for the holidays. You're going, okay, well, you already did the location scouting for this. Maybe you could just keep it on the books for a couple of weeks while we film this now.
And I'd love to see them off of like, I want to see them someplace other than Hallmark personally. Like, I'm just like, and that's not to say you have to, they don't have to become like super raunchy and sexy, but it's like, I just like, even with Netflix, I'm like, I don't see why not, because there really are a lot of the same tropes amongst movies they're already making. Like, why not do one with a mystery? Oh, love the new Jane Seymour series on Acorn. Yes, I just started that. Acorn is really the only place that I think of to go to for mystery series and cozy mysteries in general. So yeah, they're doing great. Death in Paradise is great. Oh, Queens of Mystery, I love. God, I love Queens of Mystery. So good. It's such an interesting style. But BritBox, BritBox and Acorn, I don't know why. They always are like the same thing in my mind, but I guess they are different. But yeah, no, I definitely would love to see more modern ones like this.
Oh, yeah.
Arsenic and Adobo. Oh my God, I would love to see that show. Like, that would be fantastic. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get more.
Oh no, I mean, I would love to see more adaptations. And Mia is such a talented writer. I was so glad to see that you were doing something to highlight her. I talked to her at Malice. It was so interesting because I hadn't my mom was just texting me. I was like, hi, Mom. I love you. Hi, Mama Hart. I hadn't done anything in the longest time. And so when I did Malice, I tried to do author interviews while I was there. But I was so tired from having been doing an event that I hadn't done in such a long time. Now I have all this content. I'm like, I actually got to do stuff with it now. I actually got to do the video. I actually got to edit the podcast. So I have one that with her, and she was so sweet and so gracious. And this woman was talking about how it took her 5 years to get to the point where she had this book published. And I'm so happy that she's had the success that she's had, because talk about facing, okay, we like this, but we're not going to buy it. We want this, but we're going to pass. And now all of a sudden, here's the Agatha Award because you're an awesome writer. Here you go. So go make that into a series.
It's great.
I was going to say, I was looking down. Okay, so I did make a little image. Where did it go? And so and y'all have been commenting. So I'm going to ask you to choose our giveaway winner, because we have, here it is, a little image. So Literary Creations by Jenny. So someone is going to become a member of the Secret Book and Scone Society tonight with their t-shirt color and size of their choice. So this is up for grabs. And I linked Jenny's website up above in the comments, and up above before the comments started. I'll link it down below in the description box or in the comments, depending on how YouTube does with their caption limits. So someone tonight is winning this. And so I was going to ask you to randomly select a winner. And also, because again, y'all have been commenting, and I think maybe because y'all enjoy this book so much, or maybe it was the fact that, maybe having the book selected in advance has been really beneficial, but y'all were commenting and posting so much across platforms. So I got this new little, I don't even know what you call it, like a cutter. So now I have the bookmarks with the rounded edges. So we have a little fancy. So you got your little hashtag sleuther with the rounded edges. But I also have these Kiss Cut. They're called the Kiss Cut vinyls. So I don't know if you can really see it, but it says sleuther. And I am obsessed with the way these came out. So I originally pictured them coming just as the little sticker itself. I'm just going to pull this one off. I already have one, so I'm going to add it back. I'm going to put another one. So it's so cute and awesome. I love this size. I love the way the green plays out. So I have, this one's mine now. I'm not going to show it. We have multiple ones to give away. So I was going to ask you to choose our main giveaway winner, and then the ones to get the vinyls and the new bookmarks. So it's all up to Kelly. So Kelly's going to make you guys a winner. You're all winners.
Okay. I'm just going to do a random scroll. I'll scroll up. I'll scroll down. I'll scroll back up. I'll scroll down a little bit more. Got to keep it fair. Gotta keep it fair. And Jennifer Baker.
Yay, congratulations. You officially are the winner of so this is my pullover. So you are going to get a t-shirt, and it will be the color and size of your choice, and you'll be an honorary member of the Secret Book and Scone Society from Literary Creations by Jenny, thanks to Ellery Adams. So you get it start with the colors, the choices. So please send me either an email. Probably send an email, because I was going to say, I told you I had a little issues with Instagram. So maybe send the email or Instagram DM or Twitter DM. But please just tell me where to get your information, and I will send it right along to make sure you get your prize.
And everybody else should just go buy one so we can all match.
Well, so it's the shirt retails for $20 plus shipping and handling. So yeah, it's not,
totally worth it.
For a prize, it's definitely worth it, but it's also not as much money that you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to cost me $49.99.
No, that's a great deal for sure. And I'm with you. I might need a pullover. Those have become my new favorite thing. I live in Portland, Oregon now. So it's like the rain, the dreary weather, like it's very much my vibe. And so long sleeves have become like my favorite thing ever.
I'm always been so I do not like the hot weather at all.
Oh, I don't either.
I always keep my AC on. We're talking even in winter, I have my AC on. So I always wear my long sleeves because it's always freezing and wherever I am. But
I love it.
But here in DC, it's been reaching, 90 something, and I'm in my nice, cool apartment, dressed the way I like to be dressed. Then I walk out in the hallway and I'm going, nope, I need to go put on a short sleeve, nothing.
Like the inside of a sock. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That humidity is a killer. I've lived in the Midwest and I know it. So I'm looking forward, though, to seeing more of the sun. It's been a sunny afternoon the whole time I've been chatting with you guys. So I might go enjoy some of the sunshine for the last few hours of sunlight. We'll see.
Before you do that, do you want to choose 3 other winners for the vinyls and bookmarks? And maybe
God.
I'm going to put in.
Oh boy. Okay. The fun
These
continues. I wish I could choose you all. You know what I'm going to do this time? I'm going to start at the beginning this time and scroll down and scroll up and scroll down and scroll up. And little bitty delights.
So Instagram, y'all, if you're not already following her, please check it out. She's been doing reels lately, and I don't know how she's so creative and makes these little, I mean, the details she does on these little items is incredible. I don't think I could have that level of detail if I'm designing something huge. So very, very talented. I will happily send her something. I was just going to pull up your information too. So the woman choosing the just in case you forgot, Kelly's information. So if you guys are not already following her, please do. And then I was also working on something. So I was trying to make our own little sticker to eventually be like, have something, or I was going to put this on the website so y'all could have fun with it. So
cute.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as we're doing our little, notes for the evening.
I love it. Yeah, no, come follow me. I'm honestly hardly ever on my personal pages these days. I'm like 100% on Boobies and Newbies. It's the handle that's like right here at Boobies Podcast across everything. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Like, come find me. If you want to talk romance. So if you need romance recommendations too, like you just want to get started, I am happy to help you out with that. Okay, so let me see 2 more, right? Oh, this is so fun. Although I hate not giving prizes to everyone. But that's the way of life.
Well, if you guys did post a photo of the book of the month, you are entitled to a bookmark. And if you're an international sleuther, I have a special page over on my personal website that is password protected. So if you just tell me where your photo is and you're an international one, just because mailing can be expensive, I have images that I worked with graphic designers for. I have unique things. Nice. I think there's something like 12 different bookmark designs in there. Plus, I have made some special mazes and puzzles and other things. So even if I can't physically mail you an item, I do have something special for you.
Nice. Okay, I accidentally scrolled down to Little Bitty Delights again, but they've already won. So we're going to do it again. And
you just love her so much.
Vanessa Arthur.
Congratulations.
Yes, congrats. Okay, and one more.
Apparently Max is congratulating you too, because he just did a little like growling sound. I don't know how sensitive the microphone is.
No, he's good. He's good. Okay, and then let's see. We'll do one more. I'll start at the bottom this time, and we'll go up and down.
I like how it's on her, because whenever when I was doing the giveaways, I'm going, oh my gosh, I hope they know. I love them.
Rants and Reads. Love that title. What a great name. Rants and Reads.
We have our winners. Yay!
There we go. You're all winners, just so we're clear. Everyone here is a winner.
Oh, you guys are amazing. I am just blown away by the number of comments, and I don't even know the number of people who are watching with us tonight, but I'm always just so appreciative that y'all are taking time out of your day to celebrate cozy mysteries and chat about cozy mysteries.
This was a good one. This was a good one to chat about. Like, do I wish it was just a women's fiction? Yes. However, I am so invested in these characters' stories that I'm like, but it's also like setting a precedent where I'm like, this is what I'm going to expect from all of my cozy mysteries moving forward. And I don't think I'm going to get it. I'm going to be so upset, but I want it. I want more like this. Like, if people have more recommendations for like the very character rich cozies, let me know.
Mean, are you really game to do book 2? I'm just curious to read book 2.
I think I will, just because I feel like I still have enough questions about each of them that I want to know more. Like, and I think judging by book 2, I'll have an idea of if I want to read more. I'll have a better idea.
Because so I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. So starting for the first Tuesday of the month, all of a sudden Chatting Cozies, the podcast, the sister account is going to be live. And so it's all about following up with series that we've enjoyed. So I was going to say, I just spoke with Colleen. I know she was here earlier. I Like Old Books, 1, 2, 1, 3. So we did a follow-up for the second book for The Death Becomes Her. Death B-E-E. Becomes Her, Nancy Coco. So, because we liked the book, so we're going to talk about book 2. So the podcast is all about subsequent books in the series. So I'm going, well, if you're interested in reading book 2, we might be able to do a podcast episode on that.
I'm not opposed. Yeah, no, I'm always happy to podcast. It sounds like
she's there. She was here. I was going to say, I know. I saw her handle before. Yes, so we just did the follow-up. Yes, Max, we know you're down there. You're so cute.
Somebody just said book 2 goes into Stephen King. No spoilers, just saying. And so now I'm like, I'm even more intrigued.
Stephen King.
So yeah, I don't know. What's the read for next month?
I love how you guys are on it. I was going to say it is Tea and Treachery by Vicky Delaney, and someone's already on the game, already posting. So where did my images go? So we officially have our entire 2022 calendar. So we're moving right along, which is incredible. I cannot believe that this is May and now we're talking about June. I don't know where this year has gone. I think
I know.
It's been a giant fuzzball or something. But next month it is Tea and Treachery. And I'm pretty sure, yes, I have it right behind me.
That looks cute.
Vicky Delaney is so awesome. So she has her all year round Christmas series. So we have Tea and Treachery. I know the lighting is a little off, but we have the book and it is so beautiful with this cover. I just want to dive into this fictional place and be like, I want to eat everything on this.
Yeah.
All the sweet desserts. So next month is Tea and Treachery. So if you ever don't know what book is coming up, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible to find. So I always include it in the Twitter and Instagram bio, but all of the books are also listed over on the website, and the pinned tweet on the Twitter account has the entire TBR. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible so you guys always know which book is coming up in the TBR of the Cozy Mystery Book Club. So I am really excited this book with y'all.
Goodness. Well, I love that in advance, like how far out. I did notice November is Fresh Brewed Murder, which I read because it takes place in Portland. And so I was so excited. I feel like there are not enough books written in Portland or take place in Portland, which shocks me because it's such a cool vibe. There's so much stuff going on here. Yeah, I really like that one. I will say that one is also a different kind of cozy mystery. That did also surprise me. So I have to wait till November though to talk about it with you.
Well, she was also an author I spoke with at Malice. So again, I got to get my butt into gear and get the content ready to share with y'all. So because there's going to be the subsequent, podcast episodes, and I feel as if my YouTube channel has been the live streams as of late, being the last couple of years, but I do have actual author interviews that were filmed that I need to edit and post. So cool. I have all sorts of coziness to share with y'all. I just need to sort of get some caffeine in my system and edit these things for you because she was also really sweet. So I do want to make sure that I share her interview well in advance of November. So you're ready for our book discussion.
I'm with you. I'm a podcaster. You don't have to explain. Editing is the hardest and most time-consuming part of it all. So I don't envy you.
No, it's really difficult when it comes to editing. My perfectionist tendencies come into play. Yeah. And then again, I think maybe it's just because I've been going through like the whole dissertation ordeal. I've been very nitpicky with myself. I'm going, I should have said this differently, or I should have done that, or something. And then I end up leaving the editing going, I messed up and I really didn't do anything wrong, but I just feel negative doing the experience. And that's just not how.
It's the same as writing for me. Like I'm a writer first and foremost, and I have done some ghostwriting the last couple of years, and I work for a couple of authors, but I definitely don't dedicate as much time towards my own writing, which is something that I'm trying to change. And so I've challenged myself to do it because I'm releasing my first self-published thing of my own this fall, which will be a holiday novella. So I have to get my butt in gear and finish writing the dang thing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Oh my goodness. I'm going and auto buy and auto promote, and I'm going to be making graphics.
It'll be too hot for this channel, though. Let me tell you, it's going to be a steamy one.
I was going to say, we're doing the Cozy Mystery Book Club tonight. We can always talk about romance and, tomorrow. Just because we're talking about one thing tonight doesn't mean that's the only thing we have to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just a reminder, make time for the stuff that you want to do. Because I feel like we put everybody else's stuff ahead of us all the time. And so even something like this, just coming and spending an hour and a half here with all of you, this is great. This is something that is just for us. We're all here because we want to be here. So everybody needs to do more of that.
Please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe and healthy. And hopefully the dog he's burying a treat in the hardwood floor. I don't know what he's trying to do, but everyone's taking care of their music companions and their families. I do just want to mention there are some more giveaways coming up. Kensington sent me some additional books. So these are not cozies, but I will be giving them away on my personal Instagram. And I was going to maybe do a real giveaway with them, hold them up, and y'all will comment to enter. So we have some additional books that are going to be giving away. So I have so many things to keep you guys entertained and, hopefully things that will spread the joy, and you will take the time for yourself. So just, again, I try and make it as easy as possible to enter too, is just simply comment and then you can win. So
just show up, hang out, say something, and you could be a winner.
No. So yeah, I mean, that's why I thought of it, because again, more opportunities to spend reading, spending it on time, things to enjoy. I feel as if even if you don't necessarily enjoy a book, you're going, well, I took time for myself. And I love Nora too. She's trying to figure out what food she can eat as she's reading. So you're enjoying your sweet treats, your tea, coffee, taking time for you. So even, please do the things, because I'm also trying to do that myself now, because I've been trying to pick up those quotes. I've been on Pinterest and I've been looking at those Instagram posts of lazy days are not wasted days. Self-love is an important type of love. You should be your first love.
Yeah. It's something I need to work on too. Honestly, I think it's something that women need to work on. I think we have this really gross, like, competitive nature, like, and it's not that we want to like beat everybody. It's just that we see what everybody else is doing and think that we need to be doing that too, in order to live up to some awful standard that we didn't choose in the first place. And so, love yourself, because if you're not taking care of you, you're not going to be able to like take care of everybody else. But I'm with you. This is something I need to work on more, is just like sitting back, relaxing, turning off the phone, watching another episode of Stranger Things, having a second cookie. Like it's take care of you, treasure you, because otherwise we can't do it for everybody else. So you come first, and it's not selfish. It's not selfish to say that.
I was going to say, I think we just need to take everything she just said and make little like snippets and reels of that. Take a little quote.
Kelly on her high horse. Yeah, I do go on the occasional TikTok rant, I will say. But yeah, if you want more of that, come on over. But no, this has been so fun. Everybody in the chat, Bridgerton, I love it. Everybody in the chat is, so kind and, obviously loves coming here. I do too. I love hanging out with you every time you invite me. So,
you're welcome to join anytime. She is an open invite. I adore you so much. And I'm so appreciative that y'all are taking time to read the book of the month and discuss it. And, it blows me away that you're taking time out of your days to be a part of this book club. And I get emotional. I'm just so appreciative of you. And I feel like I'm a fan of yours. I'm going, finding fellow sleuthers, having this shared love and shared desire to discuss these things. And you guys are just so positive. I always talk about how the Cozy Mystery Book Club is my happy place. And that's because you make it feel that way, because it is such a supportive, kind environment. So thank you for being the group that you are. So I'm in awe of all of you. So thank you.
Yay! All the love. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
And I'm going to put up, let's see, I got the banners again. Where did I go with this? So we have the book club TBR for all of you. So if you have any questions now, please post them as I'm going down the list, because I want to find Kelly's image. So if you do not find her social media, we have it right here. So please, at Real Kelly Rye and at Boobies and Newbies. So she has the Boobies and Newbies website. She has her personal website. So she has the different platforms. And if you're not listening to her podcast and you're interested in romance, please do. And she's always working on something. And I'm so appreciative of y'all for being here. So I just want to thank Kelly for taking time out of her day she's always busy, always doing something. And so she took time to read this book. And I know you're doing your own book club with Boobies and Newbies. You had to read Mia's book for the interview that you just did. So I'm appreciative of you for preparing and being so thoughtful with your notes and just taking time to do this. So thank you to Kelly. And I'm just so thankful for all of you for being here tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you guys. It's been so much fun, as always.
Oh, thank you guys for joining, and please stay safe, healthy, kind, take care of yourselves. And I hope you're enjoying some more cozy mysteries throughout the month, and you're ready for next month too with Tea and Treachery. So we got more cozy mystery goodness coming your way. Good night, everybody.